Okay. Well, I would like on the first question to answer very clearly that I think that the theme of the reform of the United Nations should be, by any means, one of the themes of the campaign. And on this I have to make one first observation. This is the World Social Forum, it's the first one, where there is no central space, in other words, where we're gone to the extreme of the theory of the open space. None of the activities of this World Social Forum I was saying that this is the first World Social Forum where none of the activities which are being held has been planned by any form of central management or central planning. It is the first World Social Forum where the people have organized their space in total autonomy and decision. If you look at the program, you will see that all the workshop, seminar, conferences that we are having here in Nairobi have been called, realized and structured entirely in self-management by organization. This is a difference with the previous forum where we had some central space. So the result of the program is very interesting because it gives you what the global civil society will do left to itself without any abstract planning by the International Council of which I am a member. It has brought some interesting results. For instance, energy, that is in our view a very central issue on the governance of the neoliberal globalization. It has shrunk in this World Social Forum to only 17 events out of 1,800. Equally, the gender has shrunk, in my view, much below what should be normally. By the other hand, we have an extraordinary explosion of human rights and labor issues. And one of the things which is not reflecting the reality of the engagement of the social society movement is the issue of international organization. When we started the World Social Forum in 2001 in Porto Alegre, in that first World Social Forum, which was almost entirely centrally planned and managed, well, the reform of the United Nations was not there. As you remember, the first World Social Forum came as a manifestation of alternative to Davos. Specifically, it was considered to be one event anti-Davos. And there were so many people, we were expecting 10, 12,000 people, and 50,000 came, and so we decided the forum should continue. But at that time, nobody was speaking of United Nations. Everybody was speaking of IMF, the World Bank, of Bretton Woods, because they were the symbol of how the Washington Consensus and later the neoliberal globalization, which came out of the Washington Consensus plus the end of the Cold War, brought everybody focusing on our international institution, instead of being a support to citizens, to human rights and to development, were becoming allies of the enemy. It is only in 2002 that we started to speak in the Forum of United Nations. And then, thanks also to the entrance of Ubuntu in the International Council and to other initiatives like in Italy, Tavola della Pace, and so on, the United Nations became one very central issue of the movement. And if you look to the programs of 2004, 2005, and 2006, you will see that there were a very large number of events dedicated to the reform of the United Nations.
Ambitions of dominations and authoritations imposed on other peoples. The next thing, what I like to say is that solidarity is the only power of the oppressed people against more powerful. Without solidarity and unity, we can not change the situation. We cannot resist the imperialism. Our struggle is not isolated. Our problems are common. That's why solidarity is necessary. If the U.S. succeeds to do what is in Iraq, so we have the next Iraq.
Okay, I'm going to speak in the short sentences and leave time for translation. I will briefly resume what I said. This is the first time we have a World Social Forum where there is no central planning and central organization. It is just what people coming here decide to have a seminar, a workshop.
To the people of Palestine, to the people of Iraq, to the people of Venezuela.
Therefore, if you look to the program,
we appreciate very much,
and you look to the teams which came out from the self-management of people, you will see that some teams which were very important in the previous World Social Forum have become much less prominent now.
National independence and bring down.
For instance, there is a decline on the issue of gender.
After the collapse of the socialist bloc with the Soviet Union.
There is a decline on the issue of energy.
So we see the process of.
And certainly there is a decline on the issue of the reform of the United Nations.
What Italians have been trying to do,
which was in the other forum where we, International Council, did plan spaces, there was much more space for certain issues that we have here now in Nairobi. And I was saying that in 2001, when we started the World Social Forum, United Nations was not an issue in the debate. The issue in the debate was IMF, World Bank, the Bretton Woods system, which was perceived as an ally of the neoliberal globalization and becoming a concrete instrument of oppression and distortion in citizen life and rights.
It's very important to make the masses to be aware.
It is only in 2002 that civil society started to speak about the United Nations. And then the United Nations became one of the very important themes. Also thanks to the entrance of Ubuntu in the International Council. And if you look, for instance, in the last Porto Alegre, and also in Mumbai, United Nations was a very important theme of debate. Therefore, I think, to answer the first question, United Nations should be one of the themes of the campaign. And I would like to make a brief observation.
We need to explain to people.
In the very short life of the World Social Forum,
especially for billions of people who are forgotten today, what is the flag?
Which, as you know, now is in its 7th edition.
For the goods to travel around the world.
We have seen the rise and fall of the American empire.
More profit to the capitalists.
We have gone from the extraordinary unilateralism of the United States to the decline of the Bush policy
to a kind of democratic games.
For which we know that whoever will be the next president of the United States, each one of them, of the candidates, has already declared that they will not oppose the Kyoto Treaty. To give you an idea. I say this because I think that contemporary life is much faster than what we sometimes realize. Suffice to say that in 7 years, China will be the largest industrialized country of the world, and probably the United States will become a regional power, as well in a different way European Union. So time goes fast. That is my point. And I don't think this idea of alternating the World Social Forum with a year of mobilization is able to keep up with the speeding of time in which we live. In the International Council we had a big debate about this, and I think that this was more due to a certain fatigue by several of the organizations who joined the International Council to space the forum every 2 years than to a real analytical design of strategy. Because to come to the conclusion of my second question, I think that mobilization is a different instrument from the forum. We were born to be an alternative to Davos originally. And in my view, the fact that the global civil society cannot keep up with the speed of Davos, the fact that global civil society cannot keep up with the speed of Davos, in my view, is a very serious shortcoming for our march. The movement that is called upon by the chart of the World Social Forum has 3 challenges. One is mobilization, there is no doubt. The second is participation, but the third is also elaboration of alternatives to the present world for a different world. Participation is why we have been moving the World Social Forum worldwide, and we have not decided yet where we will have the 2009 World Social Forum. Maybe we go back to Latin America. Maybe for the first time we will go in the north. It is a decision we have to do, which is based on this idea of participation, that we try also to do with regional, thematic, and local forum. From the first Porto Alegre to now, if you sum up everybody with any kind of forum, we reach the figure of slightly over 1 million people, which is not little. And when we organized the March for Peace on the 11th of March, we had 110 million people marching in the world. Participation remains our biggest challenge. Mobilization is a different issue, because Some of the organizations were in the World Social Forum. For instance, I represent a global organization dealing with communication. We cannot organize mobilization. If the journalist of IPS will walk in the street, it will make no noticeable difference. So in the end, only some organization will be able to participate. And the real challenge is not to have our organization marching in the street. The real challenge is not having our organization marching in the street. The real challenge is having citizens joining us in the street. But the main importance of the World Social Forum remains establishing alternatives. And on this, when we cut our progressive elaboration, we lose time. We do not gain time. And I would like to conclude as chairman of the Commission of Communication. I would like to conclude as chairman of the Commission of Communication of the International Council by saying that the World Social Forum remains with a very, very serious challenge which we have not been able to address, which is the challenge of how to communicate with the people who are not here, for which I don't think mobilization in the street or anywhere is an answer. As the World Social Forum, we have two problems. One is how to relate to the media world, and on this we are hopeless behind any good practice. If you go to see here at the media center, you will find 800 journalists and one heroic Nicaraguan lady all by herself dealing with all the journalists. Without infrastructure, without support, and result, you can see that the coverage in the world of the World Social Forum is shrinking every time. And the second problem is that we must be able to communicate among ourselves inside the movement. We are not doing that. What we are discussing here will remain among us. There is very little that will reach other people who are here around, and certainly nothing will reach anybody else anywhere. When last year we organized a polycentric forum in Caracas, Bamako, and Karachi, none of the people in the forum knew what the other forum did. And then we have also the problem that if we want to build up a social movement, we need to involve people to come. People who do not come necessarily to the forum, but to share our concern, our hopes, and our views for a different world. On this, I think we have not done any serious work. And I think that the theme of the United Nations, that the United Nations has something to do with every citizen daily life, and not something only of government. It is something that we must bring out with more strength. This is a problem of communication, but it's also a problem of having actors do this. And I want to conclude by praising Ubuntu for having done a continuous work on this, and say that certainly we should be able to communicate more The point of our movement to reach concrete proposal of alternatives to the people in the world who share with us our hopes. Thank you.